My name is Brian Sussman, and this is my speech for my communications class entitled, What is Crime? Did you know in the city of Orlando it is illegal to be in possession of a milk carton? While I was in the police academy, we had a police officer come in and he told us a story about why it's illegal. And basically, he was working a detail at one of the clubs downtown, and while he was there was a fight that had broken out, and by the time he got there, the fight had dispersed and people kind of ran away, but there was some property damage left over. The next day he went back, and there was a homeless guy sitting on a milk carton, and he asked the guy, "Did you see what happened last night?" because there was some property damage. And the homeless guy said, "Yeah, I saw everything, but just didn't want to talk to cops." I said, "Okay, that's fine." The cop told the homeless guy, "That's fine, but I'd like you to stand up and put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest." And the homeless guy was shocked because he was sitting there minding his own business. And it was because of the milk carton that he was sitting on that that's why the officer was going to place him under arrest. But what is crime? Most criminologists do not have a pure definition of what crime is. The closest we have is Paul Tappan. Paul Tappan is a criminologist from about the 1960s, and this definition is probably the closest definition that most criminologists agree that this is the definition of crime. And the reason being is because crime changes, it evolves, it never stays the same. Hence why criminology is not an exact science. It can never be. An intentional act in violation of the criminal law for which, without defense or excuse, and penalized by the state. Within crime, within law, there's two subdivisions of crime. America has two subdivisions of what crime is. That's mala in se and mala prohibita. Mala in se is basically an act that is inherently bad. They may not be crimes, but society judges it as a wrong thing to do. The two gentlemen here, the guy on the right, his name is Armin Mewes, and they're both Germans. And around 2007, Armin, he put out a post or an ad in the paper asking, with his email address, asking for somebody, a willing participant, to give up his own life so Armin could eat him. In Germany, at that time, there was no laws about cannibalism, because normally, if you're a cannibal or you do something like that, you're the one committing the act in order to reduce the cannibalism side. But they videotaped everything. The gentleman on the left emailed them back and said, "I'm your meat." And they videotaped everything. They have signed documentation on everything. Everything was videotaped. And the German government really, there was no crime on the books, but they got him for assisting suicide. And he spent 8.5 years in prison because of that. So, but now in Germany there's a crime of cannibalism. Mala prohibita is an acts that they're bad because they're prohibited, such as robbery, drugs, that sort of thing. They're crimes that basically society says are wrong to do. Crime will never change, because as a society we elect our politicians to take office, and once they take office, they can change laws. They can change laws. For instance, Prohibition, 1933. Alcohol was prohibited to be consumed in the United States, and after 1933, it became okay it stopped being a crime basically to consume it. Just this year, Arizona passed the medical marijuana law, so now it's permissible for people with medical issues to, take part in marijuana. For instance, going back to raising the age limit from 18 to 21 drinking, we actually created criminals where there once was none. If you're an 18-year-old and it's legal for you to consume alcohol, and then all of a sudden they've raised it to 21, well, that 18, 19, 20-year-old, if they consume alcohol, they're now criminals, where once they weren't. So crime is a moving target, and because of that, crime will never stop. It'll only change.